had an opportunity to review the map. If everybody could please join us. We've had an opportunity to have all the supervisors review the map. Joe's already also made some changes to his motion. So why don't we start with that, Joe? Why don't you read your motion as it currently exists as you're perhaps amending it?
Okay. My motion would be to accept the conditions outlined by the City of Waukesha's letter dated November 8th, 2012 as attached, and to include the demand allocated for the town of Waukesha on the Great Lakes application, the amount of not less than 0.55 million gallons of water per day, so 550,000, and to delineate the water service area based on the attached map, and to further direct the town attorney to prepare the necessary documentation to memorialize the town of Waukesha limited inclusion of land within the water service area, and authorize town chairperson to sign that agreement. Further, to instruct the town engineer to prepare a legal description of the delineated areas to be included with the submission of our inclusion would be my motion.
I'll second the changes as made. Discussion.
There's several other areas on the map, Joe, that I marked. One is across from Town Hall on the other side of 59, which is Rickard from top of the hill. I know that hill is clay lined, and there are some issues up there currently. And then the other one would be the corner of Sunset and St. Paul. Instead of going down and cutting across, I would prefer across the backside of the Double Creek.
Basically through the bypass type area. So there'd be two additions. All right. And the one area that you have marked city, part of that does need to be in because only part of that has been annexed. Part of that is the SMART property, but part of that is still in the town of Waukesha, so we will need to have the engineer include that because that entire parcel is not included in the SMART annexation.
Okay.
So it would be as still remaining in the town for that section.
City comes up.
So is everybody familiar now with the additionally highlighted map? Are there any questions?
How many areas?
How many areas? Gee, I don't know. Two additional, but I think Attorney Hector is looking for how many total areas.
14 now, but let's count.
Let's double check.
I recommend cutting them up.
One of the things that we didn't talk about that we discovered is that with the water service area being delineated, the sewer service area will need to match the water service area. And so that's further protection for the town of Waukesha because people typically they could use their wells, but they need the sewer service area, and that's many times a big draw to be annexed into the city of Waukesha because of the additional ability. We've lost a lot of land because of that.
And just as a clarification, the current sewer service area is delineated by sewer pack basically takes in almost the entirety of the town of Waukesha. So this will shrink it back to
Absolutely.
the water service area.
Yes, the entire town of Waukesha, the city of Waukesha sewer service area matched their land use plan, which I think we have covered up with other maps at this point, but it included all of the town of Waukesha other than the Vernon Marsh area. That was the only area that the city of Waukesha did not designate as part of growth area to the town of Waukesha in their beginning in 1955 and through their 2035 map. So that sewer service area, which matches that large expansion, the entire town would be shrunk to include those areas that were delineated to be in the water service area. So the water service area, the sewer service areas would match. And how many parcels do we have, or areas do we have?
15.
And are we very confident of that number?
Yep.
Okay. So, yes, Mr. Supervisor Jordan.
I have one question. January 2nd letter dated from the city administrator.
I'm sorry, what day?
January 2nd.
January 2nd, let me get to that. That's when he confirmed that that was our final offer?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
There's a statement in there that says the town will likely be fixed going forward.
That's correct.
Likely.
That's correct. They will certainly do what they can in their, when the compact reviews the documents to allow for some wiggle room. This fight is not finished. We need to be very diligent to move forward as this application moves forward, to be sure that language is included and that we speak for ourselves versus having the city of Waukesha or anyone else speak for us, to make sure that we expect this to be a hard geographical line as we've been told. But we certainly want to be diligent on that and make sure that that's how the parameters are written as it goes through the process. So the state will have been identified, but we need to go further as it goes through the process. And that might take several years. Did you get an A for staying within the lines when you were in school?
We ran out of markers.
Running out of marker.
I think where you simply, I mean, do you wish to wait until you have them all filled in?
Are we still in discussion or what?
Sure.
We can, yeah, certainly.
I guess I would offer a comment or two with the motion that's on the floor. I will, at least the way it's proceeding, pending any other amendments, I will reluctantly support the motion. That said, my preference would be to include significantly more, if not all, of the town of Waukesha in the water service area. And I'll tell you why, for a couple of reasons. And I appreciate the comments that some of the fellow board members have made, particularly as they relate to attempting to fix the borders of the town of Waukesha to protect our territorial integrity so that not more of it is taken by the city. That said, and I'll make this a brief comment, but I actually find some of those comments a little bit disingenuous and kind of chest thumping. I've been on this board for a little less than 2 years, and during that period of time, though I respect you, my fellow board members, you have made several decisions by your votes and by your conduct that have basically turned a cold shoulder to property owners and developers who want to work and develop in the town of Waukesha. I think the temperament and the demeanor of this town board and some members of the town board have basically induced some of those people to seek annexation of the city. You can rattle those off. It's the Waldies, the Walgreens Aldi property. It's the Five Diamonds property. It's the Smart property. It's the Bryant's Naturescape property. It's the Berg properties. I regret the fact that the town board has basically induced those people to seek annexation of the city. As somebody who really wants to protect our borders, I hope we really think twice in the future when we make those kinds of decisions. The town of Waukesha does not have a reputation at this point in time as a good place to do business with a lot of people, and I hope we can change that around. One other comment in the general context, and I have thought long and hard about this issue when they had a water utility stood in this very room about 2 years ago and allowed for the fact that if we opted out in whole or in part, we would not be able to be served ever with water from Lake Michigan. I actually, for one, latched on to the concept of the de facto border agreement and thought that maybe we could parlay that into something good for the town. Regrettably, our negotiations in that effort have not been successful to get a hard border agreement. So where I come down on the end of the day with this, I look at inclusion in the water service area for the town of Waukesha, or the majority of it, kind of like an insurance policy. And I actually think it's like a free insurance policy. If we opt in to this, either significantly in part or in whole, it will cost us nothing. I think some of the issues that people have spoken to about the concern for those high capacity wells in the shallow aquifer in the town of Waukesha, I absolutely share those concerns, but I think that is a different issue. I might point out to you that the agreement letters between the town and the city specifically indicate whatever decision we make tonight is null and void if the city of Waukesha is not successful in getting Lake Michigan water, that's an important provision. And in summary, in the end of it, again, I look at this like an insurance policy. And it's one of those things that you maybe invest in and hope the heck that you never need. Whether it's life insurance, homeowner's insurance, car insurance, I'm not an insurance salesman, so it might be, but my, I guess, simple statement is hopefully very few of those of us who are town residents and property owners will ever need municipal sewer or water or both, or at least in our lifetimes. To be sure, however, some of us will need municipal sewer or water or both. And those of us who follow us may need that. And for that reason, I think it would be very irresponsible for us as a town board to deny those the possibility that of our fellow citizen residents and property owners to have access to that sewer and water if they were to need it. And for that reason, I will reluctantly support the proposal that's at hand, if that's the best we can do. But my pleasure on this would be to include far more, if not all, of the town of Waukesha on it, because it's a free insurance policy. Good news for the town.
Well, although I respect your comments, that insurance policy does not come free. It comes with risk, and we've experienced that risk at the town of Waukesha, being included in the sewer service area for many, many, many years, and have lost a tremendous amount of property during that time, and specifically because of the ability to induce annexation and widespread development on quarter-acre lots. We can certainly look at our map and see what we've lost from development over time. We won't be able to survive as a community without significant retention of tax base. And I too would have liked to have included the entire town as the insurance policy, but you have to maintain risk versus return. And the risk to us being eroded at this point even further would be difficult. Your comments, although I'm not sure, other than to put a couple extra digs in, are not accurate. The Aldi is still here. The Five Diamonds property is still in the town. We have lost very little to annexation. And the fact is, the town is open for business. We have now redeveloped all of the open properties within the town of Waukesha in the last 2 years. That includes the Don Jacobs site. It includes the old Walmart site, which is in the process of being redeveloped and will open next year. It includes a Dunkin' Donuts that'll be on our next agenda. That's going to be coming to the St. Vincent de Paul site, which is a very wonderful development that we just learned about. And the St. Vincent de Paul building, which was vacant for many, many years. So I think the town of Waukesha is open for business. People respect the fact that we maintain the rules and treat people fairly. And for those people, they are interested in doing business with us. So we have the motion on the floor. Would you, any questions on the motion itself? Is there discussion? Yeah. Okay. Is there further discussion that needs to take place at this time? Otherwise, I think a roll call vote would be appropriate.
Chairman Van Sock? Supervisor Bansky?
Yes.
Supervisor German?
Yes.
Supervisor Laska? Supervisor Fisher?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everybody.